Hello from coronavirus world and social isolation. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're just going to pick up on some of the manifest destiny things that we've been talking about, or that we left off talking about last week. Some of the results, and we talked about the definition already, so you should have that, but you can pause should you not have that. Just fast forwarding through the slides that we had talked about the Texians, the Texas Revolution, the Alamo. Remember the Alamo, the significance of that they all knew they were going to die in the Texas Revolution, but they hung in there anyway, inspiring other people to join the cause. Davy Crockett, one of the people there, the guy born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, killed a bear when he was only 3. Sam Houston captured Santa Anna in 1836 after the Alamo. Santa Anna agreed to allow Texas to have its independence, and we had the Republic of Texas that existed from 1836 until 1845. So Texas was its own independent country. Some Texans still wish that they were their own country. They still get called the Lone Star State is their nickname. The Dallas Cowboys wear that star on their helmet. So the Republic of Texas existed, and Texas wanted to be annexed or added to the United States. Many Texans did, instead of being its own independent republic. But as we're looking here at the U.S.'s territory that we're going to get to in a bit was still controlled by Mexico, there's a little bit of a problem because of the Missouri Compromise. Congress has been trying to tiptoe around the issue of slavery, and one of the things that was happening at this point is that as the U.S. expanded and states went through the process of becoming a state, you had to have a certain population, you had to have an approved state constitution. Every time a free state was added, a slave state was also added. So you were keeping the balance the same between free states and slave states. But as the U.S. sought to expand from sea to shining sea, and had all of this Louisiana territory to sort out and organize, the question was emerging of whether that balance would stay the same. And when it came time for Missouri, so abbreviated as MO, because MI is used for Michigan, when it became time for Missouri to become a state, many people there supported slavery, many white people, and yet there wasn't a free state, another area ready to become a state that would forbid slavery, would forbid human bondage of individuals. So Congress has to come up with a situation, because this case may just continue to come up, and nobody wants to ruin the balance between free states and slave states. So what they do is they say, all right, Missouri will become oops, this is not very even. I need a magic pen, but I'm using my finger here instead. What they say is that any state south that is added, that is south of Missouri's border, southern border, will become a slave state. Any state to the north would become a free state. The other thing they do is they carve out part of Maine from Massachusetts. So just kind of imagine you're living in part of Massachusetts down here, and then at least you wake up and find out that you're in a state that's easier to spell than Massachusetts is. So the deal with the Missouri Compromise, just to clarify that here. Let's see what color. Let's go with a blue. Okay, I don't know how to make a degree sign, so I'm going to put this. What would be a good degree substitute? We'll do that. That's supposed to say 36, 30. 36 degrees, 30 latitudinal line. Okay, changing this already. Any future state. So you're trying to figure out a way to even this out with the 36 degree 30 line, Missouri's southern border. Any new states would automatically be slave states below that, but free states above. So Congress is trying to come up with a way to keep this, to appease the slave owners and those who supported the expansion of slavery, but it's still going to be a mess because Texas is below that southern border, so Texas would, if it was added, would be a slave state. However, presidents know that this is still sort of a messy situation, because you would still disrupt that balance if Texas was added as a slave state with most of it. Now there's some disputed territory that's going to become problematic that we'll talk about next, but because of the situation that Texas would be below this southern border, it would become a slave state, and there still at the time wasn't a territory ready to become free territory. So you would be disrupting that balance, upsetting the people opposed to slavery. So that's part of the reason why Texas's addition to the United States is delayed. This is the map of the disputed territory. Kind of became a question of, okay, did Santa Anna give all of that territory, or where the borders of Texas actually fell. Texans were claiming all of this as their territory in the reddish color, and Mexico was saying, no, you have this smaller chunk over on the right-hand side where it's labeled as the Republic of Texas. So this disputed territory is going to become a huge issue as we get into the Mexican-American War. And so Texas is saying, this is all our land. Mexico is saying, no, you have a much smaller territory. So land disputes that are happening between the two places there. President Polk, he's one of those three presidents that we talked about who was born in the Carolinas. He was born in North Carolina, went to the University of North Carolina, but then moved to Tennessee. So all three presidents born in the Carolinas ended up moving to Tennessee. But Polk is the one who really wants to add Texas, and he is a major expansionist who we'll talk about when we get to the Mexican-American War in a bit. I'm going to do that as a separate lecture snippet. But what he'll do is prepare, Oregon to, we got big. abort. He's going to help ensure that we get Oregon, the Oregon country of the famous Oregon Trail computer game, and Oregon will fall into American hands, and that would be free territory, and Texas would become slave territory. So that's the situation with the Missouri Compromise, and we'll see the Missouri Compromise again as we get closer to the Civil War. And I'll stop there so that then we can get to the Mexican-American War in a separate snippet.